The British Racing Drivers Club at Silverstone hosted a press conference just before the 2007 season opener to support the 4 homegrown talents racing in F1 this year. BRDC President Damon Hill gave us his views on the Brits vying for Grand Prix honours this season. Let's talk through them individually, starting with Jenson. He's had 7 years in Formula One now. Has he achieved what you would have expected?
He's achieved the Grand Prix win. I think he's established himself as a very good, solid, front-running driver. But what we haven't seen with him is what happens when he gets himself in a position to fight for a championship. And I know that he wants an opportunity to do that. But the question is, how is he going to do it where he is at the moment?
Let's move on then to a guy about to make his debut, Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Lewis?
Well, Lewis has had really a dream opportunity. It's not been given to him, he's earned it. And he's arrived at McLaren at a time when they're looking strong, it has to be said. The strongest they've looked for a long time. Teammates to a two times world champion, and his first season. So I think it couldn't be a better opportunity for him.
What are you expecting from him this season?
Well, I think I heard recently that Ron has not discounted the possibility of him winning a Grand Prix later in the year. Well, if Ron has said that, then I think it's fair to say that there's a very good chance that he could be winning Grand Prix.
So from the new boy to the most experienced of the British drivers anyway, DC,
yeah.
How do you see the relationship shaping up between David and Mark Webber, his new teammate?
If I was managing the team, I wouldn't put 2 guys like that together. Because I think they're quite affable guys, and I think they're good sporty blokes, and I think that's fine. But you want some little whippersnapper biting David's ankles, to make him jump. And I think that it could get too comfortable. That's my take on it.
Well, talking of whippersnappers, Anthony Davidson. I mean, it's difficult. I say whippersnapper. It's easy to forget. He actually made his Grand Prix debut back in 2002. How's he going to cope now he's back on the grid?
He's so delighted. I mean, look at him. He's so keen. I think there's a thing about Anthony Davidson. He seems like he really enjoys it being there, and he wants to be there. And he still hasn't shown what he can do yet, and he might get a chance with this team.
And out of these 4 guys, who do you think is going to be the top Brit, the star Brit of the season?
I think it has to be Lewis Hamilton for this year. I think he has the best opportunity, and of course it's his first season, and there's so much expectation. So we're all very excited to see how he'll do.
We are all very excited, but I'm sure Damon Hill would have sympathised with the qualifying problems of Jenson Button yesterday. His Honda is back on 14th on the grid, but he'd have been absolutely thrilled with the qualifying performances of Anthony Davidson and certainly Lewis Hamilton as well. James Allen now takes us through all the details from yesterday's qualifying.
Well, Lewis Hamilton certainly kept his teammate Fernando Alonso honest. Huge pressure on him throughout practice and qualifying. In the end, Hamilton 4th, having dropped a couple of tenths of a second in the middle sector of his lap. Alonso managed to pip him then into 2nd place. 3rd, splitting the 2 McLarens, the BMW of Nick Heidfeld. This car looks electric around here, and it looks to me as though Heidfeld is running a lighter fuel load, and Kubica, his teammate in 5th place, is carrying more fuel. He'll certainly be a threat for the Grand Prix. Stunning performance by the Super Aguris in last year's Honda car, which was on pole position here with Jenson Button. Takuma Sato 10th, Anthony Davidson 11th, and this year's Honda car is way down the field, 14th for Jenson Button. He's struggling to get the car into the final few corners. Toyota, well, they got both cars in the top 10, despite this bizarre Trulli trolley incident. Jarno Trulli dragging the rear jack down the pit lane and depositing it on the pit lane exit. And mixed fortunes at Ferrari. Felipe Massa, the pre-race favourite, suffering a gearbox problem. He qualified down in 15th place, giving far too much away to teammate Kimi Raikkonen, who looked effortless at the front throughout qualifying. He's on pole with his first Grand Prix for Ferrari. So we've got Ferraris bookending the grid. Felipe Massa is right at the back, having had a change in engine. He was 15th in the original qualifying session. Alonso alongside Raikkonen. That's the first time he's been there in Australia. Heidfeld, BMW's best ever Formula 1 qualifying, Hamilton outstanding on his debut. Kubica, that's his best in Formula 1, and Fisichella is alongside him on row 3. Big smiles for Webber and Red Bull, their new car in 7th. Trulli and Ralf Schumacher exceeded expectations for Toyota. What about this for a story? The 2 Super Aguri Hondas, Sato and Davidson, out-qualify the works cars. Rosberg also on row 6. Row 7, Kovalainen and Jenson Button very disappointed here in Melbourne. Wurz and Barrichello in the Honda make up row 8. Row 9, Scott Speed and David Coulthard, who had a terrible time in first qualifying. Row 10, Liuzzi in the Toro Rosso and Adrian Sutil, the German debutant in the Spiker. And at the back, Albers and Massa.
No, we did our own thing, and we never know how much fuel the others are running, so we do the best what we can.
I think after Q2 that I was P1, I really believe that there was the possibility to win the first row, so we made it at the end, so it's good for us.
After Friday, I was quite sure that we can make it into the top 10 and hoped for like 5th place or something like that. To be on P3 is optimal.
I'm overwhelmed. It's fantastic. I just want to say thank you for the team. They did a fantastic job preparing the car. And yeah, what a dream to be on the second row for my first Grand Prix. It couldn't be better.
For the 11th time, we're at Albert Park, Melbourne, and the Australian Grand Prix. 5.3 kilometres, 3.3 miles, around 86 seconds. We'll see you near the front of the grid with the latest tyres. Let's check out Lewis Hamilton's first ever Formula One qualifying. He had 14. You sweep in early. Lewis really does like the nose of the car pointing directly into the corner. Big braking zone then for 15. And again the back end just sliding around into the final corner. He's correcting it constantly. That might be a bit of a handful in the race, but it works supremely well in qualifying. It's P4 on the grid for Lewis Hamilton.
I was fairly relaxed. I think I probably surprised myself how relaxed I was. There is a lot of pressure on me from the outside world and from everyone in here, from the team. But at the end of the day, I put more pressure on myself to succeed. And I want to win in this business. I'm not here to finish second. And so, but there's a certain way you have to do it. And you can't go in all guns blazing wanting to qualify pole in your first qualifying session. You need to do it step by step. And I think fourth, we've got a good strategy. We are quite heavy, and so I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Are you starting to feel at all the pressure of all that extra expectation?
Probably the biggest shock is just how much attention you get. When I leave the paddock or when I'm in the paddock, everyone's looking, and it's obviously just trying to just have tunnel vision and try not to make too much eye contact and get distracted.
What was the first exchange you had with Fernando Alonso after that session finished?
Immediately when we finished, we were on the weigh-in scales. And he was just behind me, and he tapped me on the back and said congratulations, and same for him. He did a great job. I think we've both done the best job we probably could do for the team. And I think we've got good strategy, so we're in good stead.
What is going to be the approach? What is going to be the mindset? We're all familiar with your GP2 style of competing and racing. Do you carry that sort of style into Formula One?
I think so. I mean, at the end of the day, that is my style, but it's a lot harder to overtake in Formula One. Let me assure you that. So all these people said there's no overtaking in Formula One. It's extremely tough. You lose so much downforce, and the thing is we're able to carry so much speed through corners. You just lose that aero balance, and it's just you're almost tiptoeing when you're behind someone, and it's so easy to come off and make a mistake.
You've dreamt about the day. You've dreamt about the opportunity. What do you expect the first few laps certainly to be like?
I hope it's similar to what I've experienced before in GP2. I'm sure that all the drivers are extremely professional, as they were in GP2, and so there should be quite a steady first lap. Hopefully we'll get a good start, but it's all about having a clean first lap and then carrying that on and just keep on pushing. I'll be pushing 110% all the way.
Well, it's the best qualifying performance by a British rookie driver on his Formula One debut in well over 50 years, so that's one target achieved. What is the target for the race?
Target for the race is obviously to score as many points as possible, but I mean I'm trying to take things step by step, so scoring as many points as possible. Whether that means a podium or not, we don't know. But if I'm out of the top 3 still, that's if I get points, that'd be great, but podium, then a win, it's got to move on from that way.
It's going great so far. Wish you the best.
Thank you very much.